All right, if you're one of the millions of people who deal with allergies, you know that feeling, the relief you get from that one tiny pill. But have you ever stopped to think, how does it actually work? Like, how does it stop the sneezing and itching without totally knocking you out? Well, today, we're diving deep into one of the most popular allergy meds out there, Fexofenadine, which you probably know by its brand name, Allegra.
I mean, it's the classic dilemma, right? You can either suffer through the sneezing and the itchy eyes, or you take a pill that basically requires you to schedule a 3-hour nap. But then you have these newer medications, like Fexofenadine, that promise all the relief without the drowsiness. So, what's the secret? How do they do that? That's exactly what we're going to figure out.
Okay, so before we can get into how the pill works, we gotta understand what it's up against. What's actually happening in your body during an allergy attack? At its core, an allergic reaction is just your immune system, well, kind of freaking out over something totally harmless.
It's basically a 3-step chain reaction. Step 1, the bad guy, let's say a piece of pollen, gets into your body. Step 2, your immune cells, these things called mast cells, they totally overreact. They panic and release this chemical called histamine. Think of histamine as the body's emergency alarm. And step 3, that histamine alarm goes off, and it binds to these things called H1 receptors all over your body. And that is what causes all the misery. The sneezing, the itching, the hives, you name it.
So if histamine is the villain causing all the trouble, the hero of our story is obviously an antihistamine, right? Something to block it. But, the first ones they came up with, they weren't exactly perfect. This is really a tale of scientific progress, a story about moving from a kind of flawed first draft to a much, much smarter solution.
So let's meet the ancestor of today's allergy pills. It was called terfenadine, and it was really good at stopping allergies. But it had a really dark secret. It turned out it could cause some super serious, even life-threatening heart problems. Yikes! So that sent scientists on a mission. They asked, can we keep the part of this drug that fights allergies, but get rid of the dangerous part? And the answer, it turns out, was yes. That answer was Fexofenadine.
And the biggest difference between the old and the new all comes down to one thing: the brain. See those first-generation pills, like diphenhydramine, they just waltz right across the blood-brain barrier. They get into your brain, and that's what makes you so sleepy. But Fexofenadine, which is a second-generation drug, was engineered specifically to not do that. It's designed to be blocked at the gate, so it can give you allergy relief without demanding a nap in return.
Okay, so how does it actually do that? How does it so cleverly target the histamine in your nose and your skin, but completely avoid your brain? Well, the answer is just a really, really brilliant piece of molecular engineering.
You'll see this technical phrase thrown around: selective peripheral H1 receptor antagonist. Whoa, okay, let's break that down. Selective H1 receptor antagonist is just a fancy way of saying it acts like a shield that selectively blocks histamine from doing its damage. But the most important word there, the real key, is peripheral. That just means it works on the periphery of your body, out in your nose, your sinuses, your skin, and it stays out of the central command, your brain.
And the reason it can stay on the periphery is thanks to this amazing security system we all have called the blood-brain barrier. Seriously, just think of it like the world's strictest nightclub bouncer, but for your brain. It has a velvet rope and a list, and it is very picky about what it lets in.
And here is that bouncer's secret weapon. The blood-brain barrier has this tiny little molecular pump. And what it does is pretty amazing. It's like an ejector seat. When a molecule of fexofenadine even tries to sneak past the velvet rope, this pump recognizes it, grabs it, and literally kicks it back out into the bloodstream. So it's not just that the door is closed, it's that there's a system actively throwing it out. And that's the secret to why it doesn't make you drowsy.
All right, so we've got this super smart, non-drowsy shield against histamine. So what exactly is it used for? Let's look at the specific battles it's approved to fight.
Well, for starters, it's a huge help for seasonal allergic rhinitis. Hay fever, when the pollen count is just insane. It's also great for perennial allergies, the kind that bug you all year round from stuff like dust mites or pet dander. And beyond that, it's a really important treatment for chronic hives, the super annoying itchy red bumps that can just pop up for no reason. Okay, listen up. Everything we've covered so far is cool science. But this next part? This is probably the most practical, most important thing you need to know today. And I guarantee most people have no idea. If you take Fexofenadine or know someone who does, you absolutely have to know about the fruit juice rule. And I'm not being dramatic here. There is one super common drink that can make your allergy pills so much less effective, you might as well be taking nothing at all. Seriously. Any idea what it is? Fruit juice. Yep.
plain old fruit juice. Seems totally harmless, right? But when it comes to fexofenadine, it's basically public enemy number one.
So here's what happens. Juices, especially apple, orange, and grapefruit, have these natural compounds in them. And these compounds block a special protein in your gut that's responsible for absorbing the medicine. Think of that protein as a doorman whose job is to get the fexofenadine from your stomach into your bloodstream so it can work. What the fruit juice does is it basically ties up the doorman, so the medicine is just left stranded. The result? You absorb way less of it. So the rule is simple, and it's not really negotiable. Always take fexofenadine with a full glass of plain water. Just water.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's pretty clear why fexofenadine is such a top choice for so many people. It works really well, it's incredibly safe, none of those scary heart risks from the old days, and the big one, it gives you relief without turning you into a zombie. It's just a really well-designed, smart drug.
Look, the story of fexofenadine is a fantastic example of smart science, but it also leaves us with a really important thought. I mean, if something as simple as a glass of orange juice can totally sabotage your allergy pill, it kind of makes you wonder, right? Are you really getting the most out of your medications? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.